Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Last Window, The Secret of Cape West. Thanks for tuning in. Here we are talking with Frank in his room, and he's kind of telling us about our father. Not that he knows it's our father, because we haven't revealed that yet, but he's talking about how he sent him in as a safecracker to try and crack open the thing to find Scarlet Star, to find proof of like Niall's involvement, Condor's involvement, and such. Yeah, so anyways, it's pretty intense. We're getting quizzed. It's a new session, so I don't remember right now if I picked the wrong thing here, if I get a game over here. Let's see, what kind of agreement did you have? What was it that happened to you? I'm hoping this okay, maybe? What kind of agreement did you have with Gregory? He was intending to leave the world of crime behind him and start afresh, but he wasn't able to break his ties with his old acquaintances. So I made him a promise. If he lent his talents to assisting me with my investigation, I would make certain incidents from his past go away. That kind of arrangement. Okay, right. Because I remember our mom, I believe, bringing up the fact that Chris Hyde did want to leave the world of crime behind. So, oh man, how difficult. And the police force would ensure that all ties he had to his past were severed. And did he bite and agree to your proposal? Not at first. He seemed to be somewhat against the idea. In order to gain his trust, I needed to take a different approach. As an act of good faith, I gave him something he'd find difficult to refuse. What was it? I handed him the keys to a new car. It would serve as a kind of advanced payment. What? Wait, so you think that he could just be bought off into this agreement with a car? Cars are great, cars are important, especially in LA. You pretty much got to get everywhere with a car, but enough to make somebody agree risking going against this heinous crime syndicate to try and go, like it seems like a little too light for that. What? There's no need to act so surprised. It was commonplace in operations like this. That's the sort of thing we did back then for people who assisted us. We would just give them cars, and that would change their perspective on life forever, apparently. Okay? I don't know if y'all feel the same as me. I just feel like that's a little, if it was something more heavy, like, I don't know. I can't even come up with an example that isn't like on the villain side. You know, villain's easy to coerce somebody, like threaten their family or whatever. I'm trying to think on the good side how you would coerce somebody. But I guess, yeah, proving that you could erase their past somehow concrete proof of that is the car. The concrete proof of being able to erase somebody's past, I don't quite understand. Oh well, moving on. What happened to you? Mr. Hyde. I don't see how that has anything to do with what you want to hear about. Frank, what if I were to bring a member of Gregory's family here? It's me, ya boy. Would you be willing to tell them everything? Naturally. But how on earth would you? You leave that to me. And then he spins around in a circle, and then he's like, ta-da, it's me. Oh? Don't go anywhere. I'll be back as soon as I can. Literally, he's just gonna walk out the door and then walk back in. Wait a minute. Is he literally gonna do that? That would be so funny. Wait a second, can we just walk back in? Can we just walk back? I would cry if this were. Wait a second, no way, it's open. Can we literally, okay, maybe they'll let us walk back in, but that's not what's gonna trigger the next scene. I'm assuming we have to actually bring him an item from our room. I'm assuming we actually have to bring him an item. So where's the member of... Kyle, you kill me. He's such a jokester. I freaking love this. I didn't think he was actually gonna do. That's so funny. They made me walk out the door and walk back. I was just joking because it's so dumb to do that, but he really did. Okay, I'm okay, y'all. Oh my god. So, where's the member of Gregory's family? Right here. It's me. What are you talking about? Are you out of your mind? If you're really trying to convince me you're part of the family, then prove it. Oh, we have to bring proof. We have to bring proof. I'm so glad they gave me the option to do that. I'm so glad. It was perfect. I freaking ate that up. That was awesome. Okay. Thank you, game. I love you, game. You're the best. Okay, let's bring some proof. The car keys. I still think that's so particular. That's so particular. Like, okay, literally risk your life, risk your family's life, because you know you don't know if you can. We can truly help you escape from Nile, all for a brand new car. Oopsie, sorry. I was mindlessly walking around. This isn't where we want to go. It is the box that is on the table, not the box that is on the floor. I kind of wonder if we're gonna use more items from the Red Crown box, just cause like it feels like it's so full of useful stuff, you know? Might not be the case, but I take the car key. All right, now I'm gonna walk in and prove it. So it was Frank who gave this key to Dad. What a coincidence. Every single person in this building. Even though we've all been living here for years, somehow we're just finding out we're all tied together. Isn't it funny how it works that way? Because it's a story, because it's a game. And it's lovely, and it's beautifully done. All right. Okay. Oh, y'all, give me a super quick second. I just noticed like a thing. Hold on. Hi, we're back. We're good to go. Also, I realized I was mindlessly walking downstairs, which is not where we're supposed to go, so oopsie daisies. But anyways. All right, Frank, this time you're gonna believe me. Wait, 302, one above us. All right, bucko. I love that. I love that they let me do that. It was so good. All right, here you go. So, sorry to have kept you waiting. All right, so where's the member of Gregory's family? Right here, me. What? I've got something you need to see. Here. How would he recognize it from the key? It could be, how does he recognize it by the key? Unless there's some particular engraving that says to Chris Hyde or to Gregory right in there. Or like, it's like really, really crazily shaped. Like, how would he recognize it just upon seeing it? I don't know, that's just weird to me. I certainly don't remember every single key I've seen in my life. He says, yeah. This is the same car key you gave to Gregory 25 years ago. It was discovered on the body of a man in a downtown parking lot not long afterwards. This is one of the items my dad left me. What did you just say? Gregory's real name was Chris Hyde. 25 years ago, after deciding to wash his hands of crime, he left the house on his final job. 3 days later, he still hadn't returned home to his family. The police were investigating the murder at one point, but they quickly broke it off. The case remains unsolved to this day. Frank, I'm Chris's son, and that's why I have the right to hear what you've got to say. You're gonna tell me all about the promise you made to my father, and exactly what happened at the end. You're gonna tell me everything. Zoom in. It's time to speak very frankly with each other. To get the proof we needed to expose Condor, I made Gregory a promise 25 years ago. From his point of view, this job posed considerable risk. Right? He agreed to take on the job knowing it would be knowing it would be his last, for the sake of his family. When we made our promise, he looked me directly in the eyes and said, "Can I really trust you?" I didn't answer, but just nodded. I never intended that nod to be a lie, but he didn't fully tell him info about something? What happened? That night, he broke into the manager's office as we'd planned, got the safe open, and took out the contents. Then, from the darkened room, he shone the signal. But no matter how many times he repeated it, oh? Nobody sent him the response he was expecting. Were they tricking him to throw him to the wolves for some reason? But why? Why not? Why didn't you send him the cavalry like planned? Because I wasn't there. What? That night, while I was at the designated spot, Speck handed me a single note. Hugh Speck! Oh no! The message was clear. It said that my wife's condition had worsened, and that I should go to the hospital at once. Oh my god! Naturally, I went, leaving Speck to preside over the scene. Wait, was this before Speck ruined his life? It must have been. It must have been before he knew that Speck was tied into, right. He wouldn't have known because Frank is doing this operation in order to expose Condor. So Speck must have, he must have not known about Speck, otherwise he wouldn't have trusted him. He wouldn't have trusted him at that point. Oh my god. So to summarize, I fled to see my wife while Gregory was still inside doing the job. Gregory must have thought I was dutifully waiting in position outside the hotel. After he'd signaled me, he simply had to wait for the reinforcements to arrive. But I'd already departed to be by my beloved's side. Speck's plan had been a complete success. Speck's plan? Yes, it was his intention to lure me away from the scene that night. No sooner had I reached the hospital than it became clear, and I hurried back. Speck maintained that he'd been given the note, but not known what the contents were. And he also said that he had seen nothing like a signal from the manager's office. So he spun a web of lies that had you convinced. He did. He was a member of the force, and I had no reason to disbelieve him. It was only later that I learned the truth behind the night's events. Please, Mr. Hyde, are you able to forgive me? If only I'd known that Speck was working with Condor all those years ago, I would never have left him in charge of the scene. And maybe your father would still be alive today. And that's everything, is it? It is. That's the truth behind the death of the safecracker 25 years ago. Don't you have anything to say? Now that you ask, I'm not sure I do. Funny as it may sound, I don't blame you for what happened. In fact, all I can think about right now is how he must have felt during those final moments. Of course. Tell me one thing, Mr. Hyde. When did you find out that your father died in these very apartments? I only found out a little while ago. It was written in Michael's diary. What? You mean to say you found his diary? Yeah, I found it all right. You're not gonna like the fact that there's nothing related to Hugh Speck in there, though. Oh, I see. While we were on the subject, you said you had a discussion with Michael's son. Just to put my mind at ease, could you please let me know? Sorry to disappoint you, but he didn't tell me anything that you'd find useful. I see. Nevertheless, I'd very much like the opportunity to talk to the man himself. That's gonna be tough. He left not long after I spoke to him. He left? Are you telling me he lived here? In this building? He sure did. He was in room 306. You mean that man? I had no idea. Don't take it so hard. I'll find you the proof you need to nail Speck. Mr. Hyde. In fact, I intend to expose everything these apartments have been hiding. And once I'm done, the only mystery left will be where I'll get my coffee from now on. What a noir line. What a noir line. All you need to do is keep your nose out and wait for me to get it done. Why, you arrogant little... Just trying to keep you out of the line of fire. Leave the dangerous stuff to me. Well, I suppose you have proven yourself useful. I'll back down. For now. But please, take this with you. It's the other half of the torn postcard I got from Will. Huh? Wait, why does he have that? I take the postcard piece. This item represents the only clue I found while searching the 4th floor. So we found one half inside, Will's camera. And Frank found this on the 4th floor somewhere. Maybe inside the safe, maybe inside the manager's office. Interesting, okay. Take it with you. It might help. I take it you're still eager to hear what Mrs. Patrice has to say. Damn right I am. There are plenty of things I have to ask that lady. But she won't be too excited to talk to me, will she? Then leave that part to me. I'll make sure she understands you're not in league with Niall. If it all goes according to plan, there's every chance she'll emerge from her room. Okay, I'll leave that to you. Good luck, Mr. Hyde. Oh. Every time we have these like intense conversations, man, that struck the heart. You know, he feels so much regret for what he did, and like Kyle, yeah, he doesn't blame him. And how can you, how can you blame him? He didn't know. He didn't do it on purpose. He was manipulated. So, and he was saying all he could think about were, the feelings of his father in his final moments. Oh, I feel so emotional. Oh, my chest. Just one last thing, Frank. What is it? What kind of man was my dad? We had a drink together once. I remember thinking to myself at the time that he was a lot tougher than he looked. That phrase seemed to come up a lot. I'm a lot stronger, I'm a lot tougher than I look. He never had much to say, but what he did say, he said with the utmost poignancy. He told me about his kid wanting to be a baseball star when he grew up. I'm gonna cry. In fact, when he was telling me this, he came across as a run-of-the-mill kind of guy. I see. Aww. That little bit, just that little line, that's so sweet. Aww. Okay, I need to make a move. I'm wasting time. I leave Frank's room. Wait, but you gotta wait for Frank to talk to Mags, don't you? Even though I know the truth behind what happened to Dad, that's not everything. The postcard that Michael left behind, the Condor key, the disappearance of the Scarlet Star, and proof of Hugh Speck's wrongdoing. There are obviously still secrets that people could get hurt over. Just how much does Mags know about them, though? Are we gonna try and talk to her? Are we assuming Frank has already spoken to her? Be like, hey, I'm very sorry, freaking false alarm. He's actually not a part of Nile. I'm super sorry about scaring you like that, or heavily implying that that might be the case. Sorry, my bad, bud, my bad. Well, I think this is where we want to be. Yeah, I think that's where we want to be. Man, this is a long, long night so far. The longest night we'll experience, I feel like. Our talk with Mags has to be the final one. It's gotta be, oopsie, gotta be the final one. I like how there's a doorbell, but we never use it. What's the point of it? Who is it? I hear Mags, I'm speaking in the wrong voice right now. I'm just so stuck in Frank mode. I hear Mags's voice from inside her room. We need to talk, Mrs. Patrice. Mr. Hyde, I'm on the phone with Mr. Raver at the moment. What do you need to talk to me about? About Michael McGrath and the diary he left behind. I see. Very well. Thanks, Frank. Thank you. Please, come in. I feel like this is like the final boss almost. She's like the center of everything, Let's see how this goes. I'm nervous. Mrs. Patrice. Yes? What is it? I never thought you could do something so underhanded. I could say the same of you, Mr. Hyde. Right, it's a new session. I forgot that she attacked us. She literally attacked us. Oh my God. Why? They both say. Why'd you do such a thing? Wow, look at this dual audio right here. Why'd you do such a thing? Why did you do such a thing? I thought you'd have realized by now I'm not working for Nile. Then explain to me why you were poking around the 4th floor and why you took my key. How'd you even know I'd taken it? Yeah, did you have a security camera? Dylan. How did Dylan know everything about... He must have had security cameras or listening devices. I swear to God that's the thing, because how else would he have known all this stuff going on? Because I cannot think of anybody else who would have done so. That's why. You have to admit, you've been asking me very probing questions of late. It's very true. We've been way too forward. Also, you seem to have taken to roaming about this building instead of going to work. Dylan was also kind enough to warn me about you. Dylan and his giant mouth. I'm gonna punch him in the face. He told me I should be extra vigilant when you're around. Oh, he did he? How nice of him. Do you find that amusing? I never thought you'd be so dumb as to trust anything that comes out of his mouth. Seriously. I guess you didn't know, huh? Dylan's been watching you on behalf of his employer, Nile. Excuse me? And not just you either. He was also watching another tenant whose relatives worked for Condor. A relative of people working for Condor?
I had no idea there was someone like that living here. Who is it?
Well, if you haven't got any interest in rocking the boat with Condor, it's probably better if you remain in the dark about who they are. Dylan left without causing any fuss because you were unaware of his true identity.
That's a very good point. But there's still something I don't understand.
Yeah? And what might that be?
You, Mr. Hyde. I still have no idea about you. Exactly how do you figure in all this?
Me? Well, 25 years ago, a safecracker was killed here in the manager's office. He was my father.
I beg your pardon?
Like I told you before, my dad was killed when I was 9 years old. 25 years ago, he had to go out on one last job before going straight. 3 days later, his body was picked up in a downtown parking lot, and the case remains unsolved. He got caught up in a police investigation to uncover Condor's secret fencing operation at Hotel Cape West, and it was there that he was killed. I only found out all this after you gave everyone the eviction notice.
And how exactly did you come to know all of this?
I got my information from a person connected to Condor who lives in this building. They told me that my dad came in here to steal the Scarlet Star, but he was killed, and the gem simply disappeared.
The Scarlet Star.
After I'd found that out, I made my decision. I would expose everything about this building's hidden past.
So that's the reason you came in here and searched around, I suppose.
Right. Why'd you buy a building that was marked by Condor? And then why'd you suddenly decide to sell up? These are things I need answers for. Tell me everything you know. Just how much do you know about Condor?
I've got no interest in talking about such things. Please, don't ask me any more.
Listen, Mrs. Patrice, you can't just ignore this. I'm gonna get an answer from you. Why are you so afraid to explain things to me? Is it because your husband was Condor's ringleader? Is it because you were Condor's husband? Is it because your husband was Condor's ringleader?
Yes, that's precisely the reason. After he injured his hands, he couldn't play the saxophone anymore. He changed. He got his first job from them courtesy of a customer who came to the restaurant. After it went well, he began to realize that he was in too deep to turn back. Before too long, he was the ringleader of the criminal organization known as Condor. He eventually roped an old friend, the hotel manager, Michael, into his work too. They devised a means of selling the stolen jewelry secretly to avoid detection.
Who killed Kathy McGrath 13 years ago? Even if you're not gonna talk, you're definitely gonna listen. The person who murdered Kathy McGrath was George Patrice. It was George Patrice!
I'm afraid that's right. It was George who killed her.
But why did he do it?
He told me why. It was payback for Michael double-crossing him.
Whoa, my God, and that brings us to the end of the episode. This feels like the climax, the last boss, because after this, what can we do? I mean, I was wondering if we're gonna face Hugh Speck. I don't think so, because we haven't seen him the entire game. I feel like normally they get you quite acquainted with all the characters first before you start uncovering secrets about them. So I'm just guessing like we'll probably help Frank get the right evidence and he's gonna release it and along with Rex and they're gonna kind of take care of it and we'll maybe see news about it. I'm assuming that's how it's gonna go. I don't think we're gonna get a direct interaction with the big bad, one of the big bads. You know, he's in collaboration with them, so. Oh my God, I'm getting chills, y'all. Join me next time. This is Axis, over and out.